The Salvokop Hill commands an unrivaled view of the Tshwane skyline below. But the city now looks up to these 162 lights. Visible from around our capital, they mark what Nelson Mandela called a people's shrine, a monument born out of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to bring to light the contributions and sacrifices of national heroes we know and those we don't. The park also signifies a nation embracing the future, and we asked CEO FANA JIYANE to guide us through its sweeping vision.
Everything here is symbolic.
Yes, a lot of thought went into it. The idea was to create a park that reflects the integration of culture, history and spirituality, and to achieve that kind of harmony. So we've built it in such a way that the landscape and the environment infuse into each other. The elements of the park are also very symbolic. The JIYANE is a spiritual resting place. The place where we are standing has got these lights that are beautiful at night, which we call the reeds. They symbolize the rebirth of our nation, and they link to a story which we tell in the museum, the African story of creation, that human beings emerged from the reeds and they were sent out into the world to be loving and compassionate to one another. And it is these kinds of messages that we want to transmit to society as a whole as we try to work towards reconciliation and nation building.
Conceived in 1999, building began in 2002. Guide BADRESH watched it grow to completion over 10 years.
The site spreads over 52 hectares and each area symbolizes something in our history.
You're right, the site is 52 hectares in size, but then it's made up of different elements, with each element getting its name from the different linguistic groups in an attempt to be all-inclusive. This is the main commemorative aspect of the park. It's called Skumbuto from the Siswati language, which simply means to remember or to memorialize. And then Skumbuto itself is made up of this amphitheater out here where we host various national events. And then one of the universal commemorative elements that we have is the eternal flame, which is generally used around the world to commemorate the unknown soldier, but in our case it's also been extended to commemorate the unsung heroes and heroines in the struggles for freedom and humanity.
75,000 names are inscribed on this wall. With space for 45,000 more, the public are encouraged to make submissions on those they feel should be here.
This is the main commemorative aspect of the park. It's what we call the Wall of Names. This is where we are physically inscribing the names of various people who have died in what we've identified as the 8 major conflicts which have shaped South Africa and also our individual consciousness as South Africans.
It's amazing because it puts everything into perspective.
We've had visitors from memorial sites and museums from around the world, and they're literally taken aback by the scale of the undertaking here as well.
So these are the people that contributed to shaping our history.
Yes, of course, I think the assumption would also be that these are mainly political activists whose names appear on the wall, but that's hardly the case. In fact, we've also recognized people who have contributed to the economic development of the country as well as the cultural upliftment of society. So there are a number of names of prominent artists and writers, for instance, as well as other figures who have contributed in other ways.
Mveledzo is a spiral path which links all the elements of Freedom Park together. On the eastern side of the hill lies JIYANE, the spiritual heartbeat of the whole memorial, to which each province contributed a symbolic stone. Visitors are asked to remove shoes and hats before entering.
The central feature of JIYANE is what we refer to as a lesaka from the Sotho-Tswana tradition. It's a symbolic burial ground. So in terms of the overall conceptualization of the park, at the Wall of Names is where we have an acknowledgement of the conflicts of our past. This is where we symbolically put them to rest so we might move forward as a united nation with a common vision, purpose, goal, etc.
Designed to blend with the landscape, the high-tech center of the park is overlaid with copper and shaped to resemble boulders. It's called kapo, a Khoi word meaning dream. And in Khoi proverbs, a dream is not a dream until it's shared by the community. The curator is SIPHO MDANDA.
This museum is absolutely amazing, I must just say. It's just world-class.
Indeed, it is world-class. We've made sure that we capture the spirit of the 21st century. Technology is about 80% of this museum, and especially because we want to draw in younger people so that they can begin to engage with this South African story, which is very amazing.
And how have you told the African story here?
Over the 800 years of colonization, we lost our languages, cultures, and our belief system. So through this museum, we are bringing those back. How Africans understood creation and how Africans understood how things work. Technology, you name it, is all in here. You can see it for yourself.
It's a journey through 4,000 years in which African science, culture, and spirituality developed. A picture of the historical forces that gave birth to modern South Africa, and a call to keep building our nation and our continent.
This is the end of the museum, but it's not the end of the story. The story continues as the young generation will take it up and make it their own. But what is very exciting about this is that we evaluate the museum. We allow the public to say, yes, you have told the story exceptionally well.
I remember that moment. I was there.
To me, this is a culmination of what we mean about saying Ubuntu, we are one. And then you can also see in the Constitution the hard work of all South Africans sitting around the table and producing a document that speaks to all of them.
SIPHO, I've had such a great day here, and we as Africans have an amazing story to tell, and I hope people come and experience this. Just wow.
Wow.